Having an optic on your rifle gives you a huge advantage. I mean, that's not just me saying it. It's military studies that have been done over the past few years, because we have gone to a lot of optics for our frontline units. Your hit ratio increases dramatically with an optic. And red dot optics are some of the best because they're so small and they're handy, and really they can go anywhere from up close and personal CQB all the way out to about 300 yards for man-sized targets. So we're going to look today at the Primary Arms Advanced Microdot. And there have been a number of changes with these small little optics, but one of the things about Primary Arms, which is really funny, is that I get a lot of guys that are loyal fans of Primary Arms. I mean, if I'm doing a video on anything else, whether it's the Spark, whether it's an ACOG, whatever it is, the Primary Arms crowd always comes in and chimes in because they are just really pleased with these optics. And one of the big things is the money, the price of these compared to the quality is just exceptional. But one of the big advantages of the new Primary Arms Advanced Microdot is that it has a 50,000 hour battery life kept on a medium setting. That's almost 6 years. They feature a 2 MOA dot with half MOA adjustment settings, both elevation and windage. There are 12 brightness settings. 2 of them are night vision compatible. The sight is waterproof and fog proof. They're nitrogen purged, and they have O-rings for seals. These are really tough little sights, and I've seen some of the torture tests that have done on these. They're just really well built. The control settings are actually push pads instead of the turn dial, and that really decreases the weight. It makes it a really small option. Pretty close to the size of the Aimpoint T1. Now we're going to take a sneak peek at the dot, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the on button. That's all you have to do is to hit a button that'll cut it on. It'll also be to the last setting you used. Go ahead and focus it in. This is on the highest setting. You're seeing a little starlight, but that is actually through the camera. And then, of course, there's reflection from the lighting behind me. And then we're going to dim it down. There are 12 settings, so it gets really dim. And then the last 2 are definitely night vision settings. But keeping it at the 6 to 8 marking will keep this battery going for, again, about 5 years. The dot is crisp. I mean, it's clean, and you know, if you have astigmatism, sometimes that can cause it to look a little star. But if it does, one way to tell that if it's the sight or astigmatism is when you're looking at it. If it has some fingers that are coming out, just take the scope and turn it. And if the fingers turn along while you're turning the scope itself, then that means it's probably the scope. But as you're turning it and the light stays the same and the shape stays the same as you turn, then that means that you probably have astigmatism or some problem with your eye. To turn it off, just go ahead and hit both buttons at once and hold it for 2 seconds. Windage and elevation knobs right here, and it does have the markings, of course, right. You take that counterclockwise and then, of course, up and down. You can use a screwdriver, a coin, or even a spent shell at the range to be able to turn this. So it makes it really easy to do without any special tools. It is 1/2 MOA adjustment, so if you're at 100 yards, one click will elevate or move left to right 1/2 inch. You can hear it and you can feel it. Very tactile. It's pretty much centered at the factory, so there shouldn't be a lot of adjustment going on, which makes it really nice. There is a 40+ MOA adjustment, negative or positive, and so you've got plenty of room. If you really start to get it out there, you better check your mount. And speaking of mounts, this is the mount. This is included, the low mount. This is going on an AK with an Ultimac rail, so I really like the low mount system. But there are a ton of different accessory mounts that you can put on here, aftermarket mounts, because this fits the Aimpoint mounts for the microdots. So that makes it really versatile. The lens is multi-coated, and that helps with the light transmission. It is at a slight angle, and the reason for that is there is a small emitter right down here at the bottom, and when the emitter comes up onto the glass to show the red dot, it has to be angled. One of the things about the early Primary Arms microdots is the emitter was a little bit large, and you could actually see it when you look through the lens. With this, it's a very minimal footprint, so it's very low, and it gives you a lot more objective when you're shooting, so you don't even see it. It has an aluminum housing, and it is hard anodized finish in sort of a matte color. They are parallax free past 33 yards. So and really up close, it doesn't really matter that much. But once you get out, it doesn't matter where the dot is and your angle of your head, you're going to be on target if you've got your scope sighted in. They are shock proof. In fact, they're even shotgun rated, and I've seen these on a number of pistols. The operating temperature on these is from 14 degrees to 122 degrees. But they can be stored in -4 up to 158 degrees without any issues to the scope itself. Here is your battery cap, and it is O-ring sealed. It uses one of the 2032 lithium batteries, and very plentiful, very cheap. You can get these in huge packs on eBay and other places. Just makes it really nice, and again, with a 50,000 hour battery life, you don't really have to worry about changing this that often. I would not tighten this down too tight though, because it'll deform the O-ring. The dimensions of the sight are 2 3/8 inches in length, 2 inches in height, and 1.5 inches in width. That does include the mount on the height. It weighs 3.9 ounces, including the battery and the mount. So it's a really lightweight, great accessory for your rifle. I mean, if you want to keep that weight down, this is a great way to go. And it really is a small footprint on the rifle itself and the silhouette. Now, I really wanted this sight to go on my RAS 47 American-made AK from Century Arms. And I got one of the Ultimac rails, and so I'm going to go ahead and attach this. It's really easy to take your Torx wrench, and it has 2 different sizes, one for the Picatinny here, and then one for the mount itself to be able to pull this off. Really easy to mount this. Now, one of the things you can do, of course, and there is thread locker included, so you can put thread locker on these to mount this securely, which I highly advise. And this sight will co-witness with your standard iron sights. One thing you don't want to do though is over tighten, whether it's the mount to the optic or the mount to the rifle. That is a really low mount. Included are rubber bikini lens covers. Inside you have 2 Torx wrenches, one for the mount and then one to take the mount off from the bottom. It does have some thread locker included. The battery is included as well, and a little lens cloth, and also a detailed instruction sheet. The primary arms on the Ultimac rail has just remained very solid. The screws held in very good, and as you can see, we shot quite a few rounds at the range. Heat wasn't a problem. These can take quite a bit of heat, but even up here, I mean, unless you're just really doing a lot of mag dumps, you shouldn't have any problems anyway. The dot was really easy to pick up. It is 1/3 co-witness with this small mount, so you can still see your iron sights through the scope. It's just right at the bottom, and it doesn't impede your red dot when you're looking through it. Very crisp, very clear at the range. Just as far as accuracy goes, at 100 yards, I mean, you're able to hit targets very easily with this red dot. It just shows up really nice during the day, bright sunlight on the high setting. I left it on the medium setting. But, you know, a lot of these are just holes coming together. Of course, you know, just typical flyers. It is just a red dot. But, you know, for 100 yards with an AK, I find that the RAS typically is a little more accurate than most of your AKs. I mean, it's just a very well-made rifle. And I was using American Eagle 7.62 by 3.9. And Federal, I want to thank Federal also for supplying the ammo for the test, because we shot quite a bit of ammunition through this rifle between the primary arms, all the Circle 10 products that we used also, and the Ultimac rail. And so, you know, just great shooting stuff. Yeah, guys, you can go with the cheaper steel case stuff, and that's one of the appeals of the AK-47. But if you want something a little cleaner, definitely look at the American Eagle. It's brass, and it shoots really well. Now, on the Primary Arms website, the price for the Advanced Microdot is $169.99. They do make the standard version Microdot, and it's $89.99. One of the big things, though, is the 50,000 hour battery life really makes a big difference. And I think there's a few other little things, but pretty much it's the same scope if that's what you're looking for. But really, for $169.99, that is a fantastic price. Now the Ultimac rail starts at $98. That was the price on this one. And to me, this is a fantastic system. In fact, this is one of the ultimates if you want to go ahead and just add it to your existing rifle without a lot of modifications. And I do have a review coming up on the Ultimac rail on installation, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. So the primary arms, advanced microdot, red dot, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. One of the big things is the 50,000 hour battery. Long live the Republic. Okay. Set of rubber bikini scope mount. It has rubberized, it has a rubber bikini, and then it makes it really easy just to bring them back. Really easy to take off